I was thinking about a study I came across, right, and or an article, and it's talked about how women in open or poly relationships get a lot of disrespect from other women. Like the other women seem to believe that the women in these relationships, even though they have given their consent and they're in full understanding and all that, they're knowing what's going on, everything's checked out. They somehow some still seem to think that these women are broken or that they're being taken advantage of. And it's weird because, they say the men in these relationships are always like held to such high regard, right? They're shown as powerful, as being virile or whatever, right? And then the women are somehow broken, although both are consenting adults in the same space. So I guess my question to you is, do you think there's hate there? And if so, why, guys? Why all the hate? Is in this era of female freedom and the vocalization of the woman's voice and her strength and her body, her choice, why is it then that female desire still equals dysfunction? Why do people equate the two? Why do you think because a woman's in touch with her sexuality, somehow there's something wrong with her mentality, that she's traumatized or something? So, what do you think? Is there something here, or I'm overlooking something?
I want to start my commentary by saying that one of the greatest gifts that God has given me is the ability to look beyond myself and understand where people are coming from. So,
Okay.
right. So it's important to state because, like, on the one hand, there is a hate train there, but I want to get to that in a second. I also want to get to the first here, which is some of these chicks are ugly. So, some of like,
How is that relevant?
so, so, so,
Okay, which ones, the haters or the open poly? What are you saying here? Go on, elaborate.
I'm, I'm about to. Okay, what I'm saying is that if you look at a group of women and they all don't present the best, right? Like if you lined up, first and foremost, a lot of people may not know a lot of people in these types of relationship dynamics, right? Maybe you go to the grocery store and you see a guy with two chicks, they look kind of dusty, you know what I'm saying? And you make a judgment, right? If you think, I'm just being honest, right? They both are getting into like a little small car. A lot of times when I hear people talk about poly, especially in the context of American capitalism, you'll hear women say things like, most Black men can't afford poly, right? And they're putting it in that context. That's because them women who say this, have a standard. I've heard women say, yes, you can do this if you can afford that. Right. So it's not to say that these women would not be okay with certain types of relationships. It's just that they make a judgment in terms of what they would need for them to be in that relationship. So when they see other people who are not moving in such a way that's commensurate with what they think their standards are, they're looking down on those women and they're making judgment on those women. And I'm just saying sometimes aesthetically, if they appear like a duck and they talk and walk like a duck, I could see why some women would say quack, quack. Right? I mean, are we going to pretend like only couples that we see are the fine ones? I mean, even though Neo is rich and he is a celebrity, I mean, he got four, but come on, are we talking four dimes? I mean, I'm not, no disrespect. no, no disrespect to Neo. No, because you love who you love. And those women are very attractive. I'm just saying that I think people have this bar that they have in their head of who the person is and what they should have in that situation. So if you're a woman and you're like, okay, yes, I wouldn't mind being a sister wife, they imagine the guy has to be fucking Hugh Hefner or some type of top tier nigga. If they don't see that, they automatically assume that he's busted or dusty or they're below station because it doesn't meet the standard for them in terms of what they'd be open towards. So I do get the question of whether or not it would be, hey, I'm just suggesting there's another way to look at it because for them, they're just so against the idea of sharing. Right? The truth is, a lot of people didn't grow up from being kids. A lot of people never learned how to share their toys. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to penis or men or relationships, women in general, and probably people in general, are very possessive. So it would take a lot for them to imagine sharing that thing that they value or quote to value so much. So yes, are there some women who are hating? But I feel like even the hating women, like imagine if there were some bad bitches. Matter of fact, I remember I saw a video of two women who are highly attractive with a dude. I would find it very difficult for most women who would be haters to be like, oh, they must be this, that, and the third. Because the truth also is that women are superficial as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like they judge each other. So depending on how that woman looks may dictate what she chooses to accept from that woman. You dig what I'm saying? So for some women, yes, you're dusty. Oh my God, you're desperate. How could you do that? For other women, it's like, oh shit, she must got something. She must know something. I don't know, right? It just depends on how the women present. And unfortunately, and I'll land with this, since a majority of people, whether you're a poly or a mono, are unremarkable to begin with, right? Regardless of the relationship style, right? A majority of them are not going to elicit, ooh, I want to be like them. It just so happens that monogamy is the main thing. So, of course, we romanticize that. But there's a bunch of mediocre relationships that people point to because, hey, what else am I going to do? So, yeah, it might be a little bit of hate, Jay. A lot of hate, I would say. I just think a lot of it is, people just think they're better than their station in life and they judge in ways to make themselves feel better. Hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a lot of hate, and the thing about the when women say, "Oh, well, he doesn't make enough money, or he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that." What I hear is, "I'd be poly for pay. If you can get up
Mm.
here." So I'm not really monogamous. It's just I'm monogamous because you don't make enough money. But if you did make enough money, then you reach the sister wife tier, and then we can unlock that like the new levels on Battlefield 6. So that's what they're kind of telling on themselves. And even the guys who do meet those criteria, they still get a lot of crap too, like the Cam Newtons and Nick Cannon. They do have as much money, wealth, and status as that meets these women requires, and women still shit on them. So I think the real issue is the men who do qualify for these, the poly relationships. Those men are also in these women's dating pool, the monogamous and the poly women. And the monogamous women are upset because the guys who can apply for this, you can't stop them because there's not that many of them. I looked at up, Scott Galloway calls this Porsche polygamy. And that's the guys who have enough wealth, social status, and influence that the rules monogamous women try to enforce them, they don't apply because you can't stop them. That's what they're really pissy about.
So I'm going to say this because I think one of the things that's missing from this entire conversation is the
Mhm.
fact that the society itself was built on telling the woman that she needs to be monogamous. The entire society that we live in was built on telling women that she can only have one. And therefore, that's how women are already conditioned to believe that there must be something wrong with this person in some cases because she's willing to be in a poly relationship. These women who may believe that are actually assuming that something is broken with her, i.e., the person who's in a poly relationship, simply because they think that woman may have lack of self awareness, or they may think any man is better than no man, or they may have their own emotional commitment type issues or some type of intimacy type issue, so that this works out better for them to be in a poly relationship. So the women who you're claiming are hated, it may not necessarily be hating outright. It's actually because we're already conditioned to believe that we're supposed to be in this monogamous relationship. Blame Disney if you want to blame anybody for that, because that's what we've been conditioned since we were little girls. And now we have this dynamic where it's say, oh no, there's this new lifestyle. It's not even new, it's actually an old lifestyle. But we have this lifestyle that is now becoming more prevalent in the US or in the Western culture. And now there's like, oh, well, why would you want to do that if you're supposed to be monogamous? Because that's what we were told. And so that's the part for I think we're misassuming when we talk about hate. Nick actually I give credence more than Nick when he talks about the hating style, because he's talking about where that hate may be rooted in, which is just basically disdain because they can't see themselves in that position or that person, or they're making assumptions about that person, right? Similar to what I just said in regards to they may feel like they can't get a man, their self-esteem may be low, they may feel like there's a litany of reasons. However, because I am pro-woman, and so I'm going to go ahead and do a pro-woman spill on this as well. I think that's actually doing a disservice to the women who are choosing poly, Because even if they were broken, how we don't know that poly relationship is healing them? How we don't know that that's building that sisterhood or whatever the form it may take for them